Happy Monday, y'all. I told you we'd be in the kitchen, only you're going to be with me in the kitchen a pretty good while. But the first thing we got to do is make Mr. Buddy's dip for the week. Yes, and this is no carbs. So, hey, that's a winner. You know, we're working on it. And who knew that our dip that we make all the time, it didn't have any carbs in it. So we're going to make his dip, get it into the ice box so it can chill. And the longer it sits in the ice box, the better it is. But I'm making just a half batch. That's because he can have it eaten in 4 or 5 days. If I double the batch, it can run on me. Unless you've got a large family, there's more than 2, then you can double this. But we're just going to do single. And I'm going to kind of tell you some things you can add. Things like cilantro that, you know, Lippy doesn't do, Mr. Buddy does, but I want to enjoy this too. And he likes it simply without the cilantro too. So to this recipe, if you wanted to add some cilantro, maybe a tablespoon of fresh diced cilantro, and that'll yield you that flavor that you're looking for. Got to get a sip of coffee. Because we're not just stopping at the dip. We're also going to make supper. And all it is a cream-based chicken and broccoli. We're also going to make some crusty bread with fresh mozz and an olive salad on top. So having that creamy broccoli chicken, I think will balance that acidity from the olive. And the only, I would say, carb that's in it is the crusty bread. And remember, we're not on no carb, we're on low carb. And there's a difference. So that is going to be supper, and you guys get to stay with me in the kitchen. But I'm going to drop you because we got to get this dip going. And then I'll show you some of the brands, and then I'll just tell you what I have. 1 can of rinsed, very well rinsed and drained black beans. 1 can. Or you can do a pint jar if you can in your own black beans. This is actually a Bush brand. It's one of our favorites. And it's been draining probably 20 minutes. So 1 can of black beans. You're going to need 1 can of corn that is drained. I'm buying the corn that has the sea salt in it, non-GMO, and this is the Southwest. But you can use white corn, yellow corn, a mixture, but 1 can, and I prefer this here, drained corn. And I've already drained it with 1 can of rotel. I just dumped both cans in, drained them well. So we're at 1 can of black beans, drained and rinsed. We're at 1 can of Southwest corn, drained, and 1 can of rotel. Now, the corn and the rotel doesn't need to be rinsed, just drained. So that's all we've got. So it's 3 cans, very easy. Now what I like to do is get this mixed. Now you can use mild rotel, original, or hot. This is original rotel. All right, that looks well and mixed. Then I have 1/2 cup of finely diced red onion, 1/2 cup. Now this is where you could add your cilantro. Now you can add fresh green onions. Some call them scallions. I'm gonna add some freeze-dried green onions. About a tablespoon, guys. You don't really need too much of it. But as this marinates, it will rehydrate those green onions. Now, Sazon. This is no MSG, but it is the most important flavoring to this dish. I don't even know what you could exchange it with, but this is my favorite brand right here. And I use it just for this dip. And I'm going to go in with 2 tablespoons. I have found that's the perfect balance for this. And now we're going to go in with a 1/2 bottle of this robust Italian dressing. I have tried other brands, but there's something about the wishbone that sets it apart from the others. But we're going to need a 1/2 bottle. And all we're going to do is give it a good toss. And you're just going to set it into the ice box. and it's better the next day. Hence why I'm doing it now. So it'll be ready for him tomorrow and the 4 or 5 days following. And he will eat this on, we found some low carb chips, restaurant style chips, and that's what he likes with it. Now I'm gonna tell you, we did tacos the other day, and we used this like you would do a pico. It was fabulous. So not only can you use this as a dip, you can also use this as a topping to your tacos. I mean, to me, it exceeded the pico. So, I mean, it's endless. But like I said, the only thing I left out was the cilantro. And that's it. Blend it well, set it into the fridge. Now I'm gonna drink my coffee, and I'll meet y'all back here in about 2 hours to whip up, yes, I said whip up, our creamy chicken and broccoli, and also our olive crusted bread. I've got my preps done. It's 4:30. We're gonna wrap this up under 30 minutes. Can Lippy do it? Well, the recipe can. I'm not sure I can. But I've got a lot of preps sitting here, and the first thing I wanna work on is our crusty bread, because it'll be going in the oven at the end of the creamy chicken and broccoli. But I wanna show you how I prepare the crusty bread. Guys, this is phenomenal. Oh, and let me get the olive relish that we like to use. Hold on just a minute. It's Mama Mia's olive salad mix. Now, we make muffalettas, things like this. This is locally made here in Shreveport, Louisiana. It is our favorite. But since we're not doing muffalettas right now with the lunch meat and all, I said, well, why don't I just go ahead and do some crusty mozzarella bread with that cold olive salad on top. I bet it's gonna be decadent. I've got some garlic infused olive oil. Now, a little bit goes a long ways, guys. Just a little. And whatever I have left over, I'll put it in the pan. But I'm gonna show you what I'm doing with the bread first, because this is an important step. I'm gonna brush this on. Look at that. Okay, let's do the other side. So the bread is ready. When I'm at this point, I will just put it in the oven. But look, guys. Oh my gosh. Fresh mozzarella. It's our favorite, and it's so good. You could use the bag, but grate your own. That bag's got wax and stuff in it. But I mean, you can still use it. Not against the law, but if you can get fresh, it's amazing. And here is our olive mixture. I've got it sitting here with a napkin over it because we're not there yet either. But right now, we're moving to the stove. And if you can, try to use fresh Parmesan Reggiano. This is, I think that's the key to this cream sauce. I really do. And I've got quite a bit grated, and I'll probably grate some more at the end. So I'm picking you up, and I'm taking you to the stove. Oven's ready. So I tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and put the bread in, get it toasted. That's all we need to do is lightly toast it. Probably 3 minutes on one side, 3 on the other. You don't want it too toasted because it's gonna have to go back in when we put the cheese on. So let's put this in the oven. Let me pick you up and go to the stove. All right, let's get some heat going on the stove. I'm about a number 6. I've got 3 boneless chicken breasts, a little garlic powder, salt, and pepper. That's it. I feel some good heat coming on, so I am just gonna add a little bit of olive oil. It's not gonna take much. We only have 3 breasts. And if your breasts are too thick, you need to either pound them out so they're all the same thickness, or just cut them in half. These are fairly thin. And I'm also adding a good tablespoon of butter. The reason why I like to mix my olive oil and butter, it keeps the butter from burning. If you just do this with butter, it's gonna burn. Starting to see a little bit of sizzle. I'm going to go season down because we're going to season the other side together. It's got a good little sizzle. And we will be cooking these breasts all the way through, 165 degrees. Now remember, I'm sitting close to a number 8. We're not going to move the chicken breast. It will release when it's ready, and that's usually about 3 to 4 minutes per side. Okay, I want to use a little bit of garlic. We don't need to heavily season the chicken because the cream sauce is where we're going to build our flavor from. Guys, I pulled it out to flip it. It's starting to get crusty, and that's what I want. I'm not trying to get it too golden. All right, back in the oven, maybe 2 minutes. And I'm on 350. Oh, yeah, look at that color, guys. Our bread is done. Now I'm just going to set it over on the counter. Look at there. Now I flip that one over. Now if you had a splatter guard, I would suggest putting one on. I don't have one any longer. I've got to get me a new one. Okay guys, let's see where we're at. I'm going to go with the thickest part of the chicken. 163, 164. By the time it rests, 173. Of course, I know this little one's done. Okay, now we're going to pull that chicken out because you don't want to overcook that breast. Remember the couple of little droplets of the garlic infused oil? I'm going to put that in there. A couple of weeks ago, we canned up some mushrooms. I did drain all the juice. So that would be equivalent to a can of mushrooms, or you can use fresh mushrooms. I've got a heaping tablespoon of minced garlic. Now you can use sun-dried tomatoes. I don't have any. So I'm going to add about, y'all know I love this toothpaste tomato paste. You know I love that. That's a good tablespoon. Not heaping, just a good tablespoon. That stuff is wonderful. And you do want to cook that tomato paste or even your sun-dried tomatoes if you have some. And if you're using sun-dried tomatoes, I would use about 2 heaping tablespoons after you chop them up. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I had cranked it down to a 6. I've got it back to a number 8. Okay, we don't want our garlic to burn. We don't want our garlic to burn. So I'm using Pinot. Y'all saw that I bought that a couple of months ago. You don't have to use wine to deglaze, but the flavor is amazing. I would say about a half a cup, a fourth to a half a cup. The smell is incredible. Now you're going to cook the alcohol out of that wine. I promise. But look at that beautiful color. And we're going to let this go ahead and reduce. Let's get some more butter. About a half of a tablespoon. It doesn't take much. Oh, yeah. Now, I've got some fresh broccoli florets. You can exchange the broccoli for spinach. But I had broccoli, and we're going to use broccoli. And we're going to get these moved around. You'll see them get a real bright color to them when they're hitting that hot skillet. And we do like ours a little bit on the larger side, so they don't just break all the way down. I've got 2 cups of chicken broth. Like I said, you could omit the wine and just do chicken broth. And I'm going to go, I may not need the whole 2 cups. Because we got cream going in here. All right, let's stop at a cup and see where we're at. Oh, yeah. I'm going to add a little bit more, but I want to get this broccoli tender. So we may add a little bit more chicken stock. All right, we're just going to let this cook 2 or 3 minutes just to get that broccoli tender and clean up some of my mess. Oh, yes, perfect. A little bit tender, still has a bite because it's going to finish cooking once we get this sauce going. And this is when we want to season. I'm going to use a little bit of Italian seasoning, or you can use just oregano. It's similar to Tuscan chicken. Now, I don't want to go heavy-handed with the Italian seasoning. It's very pungent. A little bit more black pepper. With some heavy whipping cream. And I'm going to guess about a cup. Now, normally we would fold in pasta, but since we're watching our carbs and I've not been able to find low-carb pasta yet, which I haven't really looked, we're just going to eat this with just the chicken and the broccoli and the sauce. There we go. Now I'm going to let this come back up and we're going to let it reduce about 2 minutes before we add the chicken back in because we've got the Parmesan cheese to put in here. Now we're going to put the Parmesan cheese in here. I grated about a half a cup. All right, let's get this chicken back in here. Remember all that juice from that chicken? You gotta add it. I'm gonna turn this down to a simmer and put the lid on. And I'm turning it off. Then when I'm ready to serve it, we will add the Parmesan cheese on top. Now for the good stuff. And I'm gonna break it up, guys. So there's a lot of melted mozz on here. In the oven just till the cheese melts. That's it. Wow. Now we're going to go ahead and put a little bit more cheese. This is going to be up to your taste. But I'm going to give Mr. Buddy a lot of it. A little bit of parsley, not just for color, but for flavor. You see how I melted it just enough to where it started spreading? Now this is going to be up to you, but we like it to still have a texture to it. I won't be putting the olives on the other 4 pieces until we're ready to serve. Whoa! Until we're ready to serve. But we got to do a taste test. And I want to show you what it looks like. Y'all, if you like olives, it is amazing. Look at that. Let me move the bread out the way because I'm got a funny feeling I might drop some in there. But it is perfectly toasted. It's got that crunch. Now you could drizzle a little bit more olive oil on here if you wanted to, but I've got enough oil on there. There was oil in the olive mix, so I'm going for it now. I told y'all. People, please. This is my supper. No kidding, I could eat just like this. If you like this, this is one to try if you've never tried it. And I'm sure there's olive mixes in y'all's area. Our favorite just happens to be one that's well known and it's made and packaged here. But guys, this is so, so good. All right, I'm gonna get a fork. I'm going in with just the broccoli. I'm not touching the chicken. dripping sauce. Oh, no, no, no. Take two. Yeah, because this is going to be hot, y'all. I think I can go in. Hot. Lippy just needs some pasta in there, but don't think I won't be dunking some extra crusty bread. Just saying, oh my God. You got to try this, I'm telling you. You got to try it. So now you know how Buddy and I, we eat this. But I'm taking away, you know, exchanging crusty bread. We each get 2 pieces. Well, I get 2.5. No pasta. I do have to go to town tomorrow. I'm going to look for some lower carb pasta. They say it's out there. And if so, the leftover broccoli, mushrooms, and the sauce, I will boil some pasta. I won't rinse it, or that sauce will never stick to it. And I'll fold it in, and I've got some shrimp in there. Add some shrimp to it, and now we have a totally different dish. Shrimp, broccoli, mushroom, sauce to go over some pasta. So as you can see, you can take this sauce and you can make it whatever you want. It's a very simple recipe. But there you go. Now I've got to feed Mr. Buddy. But as always, stay safe, stay well, and God bless. And I will see you on the next one. Wednesday, 6 p.m. live. Pulled pork. Get your jars, get your Boston butt, get your stuff ready. Y'all thank me for this one. Because I tried it last year for the first time out the ball book. And I said, come next summer, I'm making more. Bye, y'all.